we easily realize that the arch collapses.
Tutto questo va visto non così come fatto
All this must be seen not so, as fact, obviously, as didactic fact is very important,
alla comunicazione
but let's think about the presentation, the communication of a project, which was always the big problem of the 1920s.
che vediamo
We can practically describe it.
risultato vincitore
What we see is a project, the winner of a competition of 70, perhaps the only one that took place in Bari, the project of a church. At the time, the presentation of the model was prohibited from the competition notice. But let's see, to represent it in 2 dimensions, how was it done?
come si faceva.
Personally, I made the attempt to make a model, photograph it and, polishing the photograph,
Io ricordo
obtain the perspective, which was not possible to obtain with the classic means.
oggi
Today, such a project can be viewed in various details.
si parte dall'altare, si parte
We
dal
start from the altar, we start from the structure, almost a tripod that maintains the tent cover,
poi aggiungiamo la copertura, i pilastri perimetrali,
and it is represented quietly, then we add the covering, the perimeter pillars, and we say, we can go inside,
vedere, verificare praticamente sia a livello
we can get into it, to see and verify it practically, both at the structural level, let's say, at the environmental level,
tende di uno simile
and the first user of this type of representation is the designer, who can finally realize what he is doing.
e non entro in merito alla discussione di progetti validi o meno validi.
And I do not enter into discussions about valid or less valid projects.
Disegno.
The important thing, in my opinion, is that the designer becomes aware of what he designs, which cannot be done with the means used so far, and here and we will return to the problem of denied writing.
Che possono
If
essere
these means, which can be quickly used by middle school kids, learning to detect, to copy, the famous copy that was used in the elementary school for writing, would have to be redone evenly, as regards cultural heritage.
per la scrittura, andrebbe rifatto
Clearly a boy in first, second grade, will not be able to detect a cathedral, a large monument,
seconda media. Non potrà
but also
rivelare
the Lego model, which he made, if he photographs it.
però anche il plastico Lego,
The digital camera, now everyone has it, including the mobile phone,
compreso il telefonino, e impara a,
and learn to rebuild the virtual model of that real model, which he made,
e come imparare
and how to learn to read and write.
per cui
So when he gets to university,
all'università già
he is already aware of what he will have to do, and already the choice of the faculty will depend on his preferences.
preferenze, cioè secondo me
That is, in my opinion, or one is brought for certain things and, whatever one says, he must make a conscious choice.
deve fare una scelta cosciente.
Today, let's say clearly, both in the faculty of engineering and architecture, perhaps he is doing better than he is not brought neither for engineering nor for architecture. That one, those few students, who really ask themselves the problem of design, or leave or take years, years and years, graduating with extreme dissatisfaction.
Oppure impiegano anni e anni
Continue again with the representation on the sheet, let's say on paper, on a two-dimensional space, on which we represent, according to the orthogonal projections, a building, but we say any object.
su uno spazio, diciamo su carta, su uno spazio bidimensionale, sul quale rappresentiamo
It is like pretending to form a pilot of formula, let's say, starting it to driving of a cart.
un qualsiasi oggetto. E significa che comunque
Man must choose, or learn to treat the machine or the animal,
di Formula 1 avviando
they are two completely different, if not opposite, positions.
scuola
Getting used to caring for a horse, then sitting in a car, in my opinion, is a waste.
avviando
Without saying that anyone who dreams of driving a car, but finds himself driving a cart, renounces both. But we will return to this in more detail, dealing with topic by topic.
completamente differenti se non opposte. Abituarsi
For the moment, I repeat, the other fundamental point is, after communication, after the problem of documentation, representation, coordination of programs in an engineering or architecture faculty,
rinuncia sia a lui che all'altro.
Evidently all this involves a distortion of traditional teaching.
più nei particolari, affrontando argomento per argomento.
I mean, in my past times, it was enough to know what a quadric is.
O dopo la comunicazione, dopo il problema del
Today the quadric is realized, the problem begins after having made it.
coordinamento dei programmi in una facoltà.
Since everyone has a certain amount of time,
Evidentemente tutto questo comporta uno stravolgimento della
if you were to do the studies I did in analysis,
voglio dire,
descriptive or analytical geometry and then get to tact the quadric, it never gets there.
il problema comincia dopo averla realizzata. E siccome ognuno di noi
Just as it was taken for granted that to write in ink,
fare gli studi che ho fatto io in analisi e geometria descrittiva o analitica, e
I
poi
don't have to know the structure of the ink,
così come si dà per scontato che per stile
pencil or paper, but I just use it.
della matita o della carta, ma la utilizza e basta.
In the same way I have to start thinking about using these elements.